I see so many movies on a weekly basis. It gets harder and harder to not see trailers. So whenever a movie comes along that not only have I not seen the trailer for, but I have not heard much of anything about, I get a little excited because it's neat to go into a movie completely blind. The last time I did that was for a movie called Nerve, where all I knew about was the poster. And I went in and saw it and enjoyed it thoroughly. I thought it was a lot of fun. And so along comes this movie called Collide, and I had not seen anything about it up until maybe a week and a half ago when I saw the poster for it. I thought, oh, what the hell? This is kind of exciting. Here's another thing. It looks like it's an action movie, and yeah, I'll give it a shot. Well, you win some, you lose some. The movie's about this kid who's a car thief who's working in Germany, and he falls in love with this girl, Juliet, and decides that he wants to give up his life of crime and be an honest guy from now on and move in with her, and they fall in love. She needs a new kidney, and they can't afford that on their current income, so he goes back to his former boss, who gives him this really big heist, and if he's successful, he'll get enough money that'll cover the operation, and possibly a little bit extra for them to move back to the United States and live a happy life together. As you would expect, the heist goes wrong, and then it just kind of goes downhill from there. What I liked about the movie was I was surprised at the cast. There were two big actors in this movie. You had Anthony Hopkins and Ben Kingsley. Now, Ben Kingsley, I know he slummed it before. He did some movies with Uwe Boll, and he's made a couple of really crappy movies over the years. So I know he's not somebody who is quite as discerning on the scripts that he takes. But Anthony Hopkins, for the most part, tends to be picky about the movies that he's in. Although before this, I saw that he's in the new Transformers movie. So maybe he's trying to just bankroll a lot of money before he retires by just taking everything and anything. I don't know. That was kind of a surprise to see an actor of his caliber in what is essentially a low-rent Fast and Furious. The story I thought was interesting enough. It's nothing new. It was, hey, we want you to steal this truck because there's a lot of drugs in it and we can make money off of it, blah, blah, blah. Nothing that's going to win Oscars, but interesting enough. What I didn't like about it, oh man, well, that is a lot. The directing was all over the place. It wasn't as bad in the middle and towards the end, but in the beginning, oh my God, the camera was all over the place. And I don't mean shaky cam. For once, I'm not talking about shaky cam during the action. I'm talking about like when Casey was interacting with Juliet, the camera's moving around and the two of them are talking and it's going back and forth. And it's just really weird cuts. Like they're half out of frame and then the camera's pointed over their shoulder and then it looks down at the ground and it looks over their knee and then it's focused on their elbow and it just is jumping all over the place. They wanted it to be energetic. They wanted it to make a dull conversation interesting. But in that case, make the dialogue more interesting and then you won't have to move the camera all over the place to keep people engaged. I actually kind of had the reverse happen to it. I was losing interest. Why am I supposed to be focusing on these two? The camera's pointing over there somewhere. So obviously something more interesting is going on over there. It was really annoying. The lead I thought was okay. He did a well enough job for the hero. But Juliet, who was played by Felicity Jones, was awful. I really didn't like her in Rogue One. I thought that she was by far the weakest part of that movie. And here, every line that she delivered was awful. No matter what they were doing, if they were talking to each other, if they were running from bullets, if they were in the hospital, same delivery every single time, flat. I don't know her very much besides Rogue One and this, so I don't know if she's been in other movies where she's been better. Maybe it's just she needs the right kind of director to pull the performance out of her. But from the stuff that I've seen with her so far, it's been very underwhelming. The worst thing in the movie was the action sequences. There was a lot of car chases, but we didn't really see a lot of the car chases. It was usually focusing in on whoever the driver of the car was, looking straight into the camera and looking very constipated. And then they would show a car zip by, and then they would do these quick cuts of overhead shots or some other stuff. And then they would zoom in on the person in the car, and then they'd go to the other car, and it was just back back and forth like that. There was a couple of neat car crashes, one in particular that was really big, but because of the way that they showed it, you didn't really see very much of it, and what you did see of it looked incredibly fake. I am really easy to please when it comes to action movies. If you have an interesting enough good guy, if you have an interesting enough bad guy, and you have lots of car chases, explosions, whatever, well-choreographed fight sequences, I am so easy to please. I am on board with that. But this could not keep my attention. They were boring action sequences because of the way that they were shot. They were terrible car chases in a movie that primarily is supposed to be about car chases. I've seen better car chases than the Dukes of Hazzard, and that had, God, 1/100th of the budget of this probably. Collide is one of the most boring action movies I've ever seen, and that's coming from somebody who has seen a lot of action movies. The cast almost makes it worthwhile. I mean, simply to see Ben Kingsley and Anthony Hopkins playing these two drug lords interacting with each other and don't really like each other all that much. They were okay. But everything else, Felicity Jones's bad performance, and just dumb shit that's already been done a bunch of times before. Nothing really unique, aside from like a little tiny bit at the end that I liked. But everything else leading up to that, snoozeville.